G'day, Caroline.
G'day.
Raleigh. Welcome back to the This is Raleigh podcast. And today we're going to be chatting about our little beach getaway recently to the Carolina coast and the Brunswick Islands. Do you feel refreshed?
I do. Always feel refreshed at the beach. I mean, we grew up on the beach, and that's one thing we miss about living in Raleigh. And so it's always a pleasure to get down there and dive into that ocean and feel like we've returned home a little bit.
Yes, love the salt water, the taste of salt water, sand between the toes. Watching the sunrise was magical every morning. We always drag ourselves out of bed because we don't get to see it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I say don't miss it. I think it's one of life's greatest gifts to be able to sit and watch the sunrise, especially on the beach. And what we've found, I think we've mentioned this before, but we've really found America to be quite a late rising culture where Australians are quite early birds. We used to live in Queensland, and during the daylight savings hours, the sun would rise at 4:30 a.m. and I wouldn't miss it. I'd get out and watch the sunrise, but it was amazing. It was like the middle of the day when you got down to the beach. Everybody was out kayaking, walking, running. Even the cafes are open at like 5 a.m. and people are having their coffees. And so it's so different over here when we go to the North Carolina beaches, who I think have some of the best sunrises I have seen, beach sunrises. We almost have the entire beach to ourselves. It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember that in Australia. That was crazy. Like you walk past these cafes at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like lunchtime. It's like peak hour. And like there's broad daylight. It was crazy. But then mind you, the cafes would be closed by like 2, 3 p.m.
That's right, because we're the early birds. So right by the afternoon, everyone's collapsing at home, or they're, doing their sport and extracurricular activities and that. And I do just want to mention, because some people might be confused, I just thought of it now, how I said daylight saving hours, the sun was rising at 4:30 in Queensland. It was rising that early because they did not actually do daylight savings. So
yeah, Queenslanders like to be different than in Australia. But
I actually prefer it. I much prefer not having the daylight savings because, as I said, I am an early bird. So I prefer to get up at 4:30 and I like to unwind. You know that I'm ready for the couch by 7 p.m.
Yes. And that's one great thing about the Brunswick Islands that we're going to chat about today. We got to see the sunrise and the sunset. We're going to chat about that. But before that, you also did another trip. We've done a bit of travel lately. It's been great.
It's been so good.
Get some normalcy back to reality.
But yeah, for us,
so tell us about just before you flew home that night and we took off the next morning down the I-40, but where did you go?
Yeah, so I was a little tired getting in at 11 p.m. and then up at 7:30 to head to the beaches, but totally worth it. I went over to California. I was in California for 10 days. And look, I wouldn't want to live in California, but I absolutely love traveling there. It is such an amazing state. We've traveled there many times. It's, I think, probably the most diverse state in the country. So I love going there, and this was the first time I went to some areas I hadn't been before, which was fantastic. I joined a group tour, so it was my first time ever doing a group tour, except when I was 21 and I went on boozy group tour to Oktoberfest in Amsterdam, but that's a story for another time.
Still recovering from
that one. But this was my first group tour experience. And if you want to know all about that and, what I thought of that, because thinking I've been an independent traveler for 24 years and taking on this experience, I actually really loved it for many reasons. So you can head over to Why Travel Blog and read about that experience. I'm putting out about 5 or 6 posts on the entire trip. So I won't go into depth on this podcast, but we'll put it in the show notes. But I loved it. And I went from San Francisco to Yosemite. I stopped in at Sonoma, Sacramento, Lake Tahoe, Mammoth. And then the main event was Yosemite National Park, which was my 3rd time being there. And it was a much more relaxed time being there because we're a family that loves to kayak. We love to kayak. That's a new adventure. I'm releasing it next week.
There could be something there.
I'm releasing the kayak.
How does that work, actually? You hike with a kayak strapped to your back and then find a river and just fall down and away you go.
Exactly. That's the new tour concept I'm releasing next week. Sign up at the form on
hopefully it's a self-inflatable blow-up kayak for the hiking because it'll be very heavy if not.
So, yeah, the hiking. I didn't do the hiking on this trip.
Did you do kayaking?
No kayaking and no hiking either. So it was a more relaxed way to experience Yosemite, and it was fantastic. But I just wanted to talk about just briefly, if I can do briefly, but San Francisco, one of my favorite cities in the US. So love it, especially food. Oh my God, the food scene there is incredible. Reminds me so much of Sydney. I really love San Francisco. But one thing that really struck out at me when I arrived in San Francisco was immediately I thought, oh, I'm so lucky. I'm so thankful we live in Raleigh. And just this whole, we are so lucky we live in Raleigh. And so this is a podcast about Raleigh. So obviously I wanted to share that. But, you know, I'm driving through San Francisco in the Uber and all I see is just concrete jungle, and it's, you know, it's San Francisco. So it's grey and it's foggy and it looks like so kind of dirty and chaotic, and I'm barely seeing any trees. And so I'm driving along in this Uber and I'm just thinking I could never live here. As much as I love San Francisco, I could never live in a city that looked and felt like this ever, because I've had Raleigh where I drive around the streets and all I see is trees and it's kind of a slower pace and there's not so much concrete, and I'm like, we as a community have to make sure that we don't allow this city to turn into one of those concrete jungles.
Metropolises. Yeah. There's a lot of San Francisco people and Californians moving here, so maybe they're thinking the same thing, and that's what they appreciate about Raleigh. Yeah. But yeah, on the same, it does remind me of Sydney because it's got the iconic bridge and iconic harbour. Yeah,
the bay views are just beautiful, especially if you get a clear day.
Yeah, and if you go across the bridge over to, what is it, Sausalito?
I love Sausalito,
Sydney has similar bays and stuff like that, and it's quite hilly and stuff as well. But yeah, I love San Francisco. I love California too. Like you said, it's very diverse. I could probably spend 6 months there and not get bored, but
never.
No, way too many people, too congested and a little pricey. So that's another reason we like living here.
Yeah. For now,
but
anyway.
the good thing is, from people moving from San Francisco, or for you guys in Raleigh who want to take a trip to San Francisco, because this is an awesome place to visit. And then you got Sonoma and Yosemite nearby, direct flights from RDU.
Yeah.
So who did you fly with and how was that?
I did. It was great. I flew with United, and I was so happy to have a direct flight. I hate flying, especially in America. Sorry, I love you, America, but everything's chaotic when it comes to flying in America. So
besides RDU.
RDU's not. RDU's wonderful.
A bit more calming versus like Atlanta or
oh my gosh, no.
New York City airports or Chicago, etc.
Yeah, Raleigh's kind of modern and it's small and it's never kind of crazy busy. They do have La Farm Bakery in there now, which I loved seeing. I love that we're getting the local stuff into RDU, which is good. I got my coffee there, not from Starbucks, from supporting local. So
and a loaf of bread for the trip?
Well, I would have loved to. The bakery good looks wonderful, but I can't eat the gluten, so I just enjoyed looking at it. But yeah, great flight. I was so happy they had a direct flight. So it was one of the first flights out, which is what I prefer to do. I think if you get one of the first flights out, there's less chance of delays and interruptions, especially during the winter travel months when, you know, winter storms are happening everywhere. And if you're getting a flight at 4 p.m. in Raleigh and that plane's coming from New York, you know, there's the domino effect. So that's an expert travel tip of ours. Try and get the earliest flight that you can. Yeah,
and I saw that because I used to work for Delta at RDU. And yeah, if you can get the earliest, if you book for the earliest flight, and if there are issues, you have backup. You could have flight B and flight C. But if you book, like you said, for a later flight, and there's an issue, you could be stuck till the next day.
Yeah, exactly. And I find the security lines, obviously, first thing in the morning are going to be less. They were a little busier this time, which surprised me, although it was a Friday morning. But that's the busiest I've seen at that time in the morning.
Yeah, it's going to depend on your destination. Like some destinations are business travel centric, some are leisure travel, the day of the week. A lot of variables.
Yeah. It was a great flight. And then coming back, I could have caught the red eye, but the red eye was a stopover. So I was like, there's no way I'm taking a red eye flight and stopping over. So I stayed an extra night in San Francisco, and then the direct flight left at 2 p.m. So that was great. And then I got in at 11. That was really good.
Yeah, we hate doing stopovers and stuff, like especially when we're flying with the kids. I mean, you weren't this time because you left me and the kids at home and did your own little solo trek.
Solo adventure.
Solo mummy trip. Yeah, we hate doing layovers. It takes long enough to get from West Coast to East Coast as it is. And particularly when we used to fly long haul from Australia, it was just a nightmare. So, yeah, direct all the way. Even I'd rather pay a little bit extra and get there quicker.
Yeah, and of course you've also got to think about there's more chance for things going wrong when you're adding in extra stops, like more delays, because delays happen a lot in America. They really do.
Yeah, totally. Like in the time of year, like I said, if it's winter and you fly via like Denver or Salt Lake or somewhere, you could get snowed in. Like, who knows what's going on? And that has happened.
That happened to us earlier this year when we went skiing in Idaho.
That's right.
Our flights were cancelled because of the snowstorm that came through Denver. So we couldn't, our flight was meant to stop over there and we couldn't do it. So we had to stay in Idaho an extra night, which is not a bad thing, but could be if you've got something important.
Yeah, well, we stayed in Spokane, Washington. But yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get back to Brunswick Islands. Now, I said we haven't been there before, but we did go to, so first of all, Brunswick Islands, we went to a few places that makes it up, like Sunset Beach, Calabash, Ocean Isle, Southport. What am I missing?
I don't know, but it'll all unravel as we talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I can't think.
Yeah, need more coffee. But we did go to a friend got married on Sunset Beach many years ago, and we went to that like for one day, one night, and which was awesome. I don't remember a lot of it because it was pre-kids times and it was a wedding, which has, you know, a few adult beverages.
And it was a long time ago.
It was a lifetime ago. But yeah. So it was nice to get back there. And the funny thing is we ended up staying in the exact hotel where the ceremony was held, and we just had all these vibes come back.
Yeah, as soon as we arrived, I was like, I swear this is the place we stayed at for our friend's wedding, and it kept playing on my mind until eventually I said to Craig, you know, I think this is where we stayed the wedding. And then we reached out to our friends and they were like, and that's actually where we also got married. It was like, okay, and memory vague. But
it could have even been the exact same room.
Maybe.
Like it seemed very similar. And the wedding cake scene took place. We won't get into that, but that's another story.
That was a long time ago.
Okay, so yeah, we left Raleigh and down the I-40 and to Brunswick, Ocean Isle. We're staying at the Ocean Isle Inn, and it's about 2.5 hours drive from, so it's easy getaway from Raleigh. And we had, what was it, 4 nights? Four nights, 3 days.
Yeah, and if you're wondering exactly where it is, it goes to the South Carolina border, and it's just under Carolina Beach. You can actually get a ferry from Getaway Beach, which is just under Carolina Beach, over to Southport.
Yeah.
And so once you get over to Southport, you're in the North Carolina Brunswick Islands, and it's a region that incorporates several islands, and I think it's about 11 or 12 communities. So that's going on the islands and then on the inland too.
Yeah, Oak Island and Bald Head and Holden Beach, other places that just come to mind that we experienced. But yeah, so we were based in Ocean Isle, which was pretty central and cool, and we had a pool, oceanfront, and that's where we saw the sunrise every morning. Yeah,
it was great. I love, it was so easy to be able to just walk out our hotel door and we were there on the beach. So that's, such a positive for staying at the beachfront hotel. And there's not, in that region, there's really not many hotels at all. It's mostly vacation rentals. So this was, if you're looking for an in-hotel style accommodation, there's probably one of the few ones. It was great, great for families. And I found the Ocean Isle beach, it didn't seem so many people there, and it was a really kind of family-friendly beach area.
Well, we must mention the great thing about our trip was we went in the fall because our kids are on a year-round school calendar, so they were tracked out for 3 weeks. And the great thing about going on the Carolina coast in the fall is it was still warm. Like we had like mid-80s. The water temperature was still warm. It was beautiful. and a lot less people.
Yeah.
So
and more affordable too.
More affordable. Yeah. So ticks a lot of boxes. And
It really
avoiding,
does.
like, we know how busy the coast can get in the summertime.
Yeah.
Like, especially on the
insane.
weekends, it's nuts. But yeah, so that was awesome.
Yeah, you paid like we were looking in the summer to stay somewhere. I can't remember where it was. It was a campsite somewhere on the beach. $100 to pitch a tent.
Yeah.
In the summer. So I'm like, yeah,
man.
so good that we can go September, October. And if you have that flexibility in your life, if you don't have to work around a kid's school schedule, definitely head to the beach at that time. It's really amazing. And plus, it's a later sunrise and an earlier sunset.
There you go.
Can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, so parents, drag your kids out of your traditional school calendar, put them in a year round just for the travel benefits. Take it from us, it works.
No, because then if everyone does that, we'll no longer be off-peak travel.
Yeah. But anyway, Ocean Isle Beach. So that was cool. Start with a sunrise and a coffee and breakfast at the Drift Cafe.
Yeah.
Which was a nice little spot.
You do. You can get your smashed avo toast there in your acai bowl.
Smashed avo.
There you go.
Like, I'm still thinking we created that in Australia. Is that true?
I believe so. I do believe the smashed avo is an Australian thing because, as we mentioned on our previous podcast about differences between Australia and Raleigh, we shorten every word, and avocado is only an avo to Aussies.
Yeah, smashed avo. I'm sure of it. I'll have to look that up. But
we've spoken about this before.
We do have the coffee
scene.
scene.
Yeah.
We have a great coffee scene, as we we're talking to someone yesterday who didn't realize, but and the proof that I said to them was the owner of Jabala, one of my favorite coffee shops in Raleigh. He goes to a conference in Melbourne, a coffee conference. So there's cred right there.
Yeah. And we know, just as travellers drinking coffee around the world, that Australia, New Zealand is like,
Kiwis,
shout out to
Aussies
and Kiwis coffee.
Yeah.
It's pretty dang good.
All right, Ocean Isle Beach. We had swims in the ocean. It was beautiful and warm. Kids are on their boogie boards, body boards, chill time, walks along the beach. It's just beautiful. And like sand between the toes, diving in the ocean. Like,
can't beat it.
That saltwater taste.
Good for the chakras. And what's so great about the North Carolina coast and going even further south and even north, I think, is the Intracoastal Waterway. We've spoken about that on the podcast before. And so Ocean Isle, again, is a fairly narrow island. So our hotel, just behind our hotel was a really great area we could walk to on the Intracoastal Waterway, and they had restaurants and things along it. And we could go stand up paddleboarding, or you could kayak too, or you could hayak maybe. You could figure out how to do it. I'm releasing that next week. I'll share how you do it. But
yeah, you better claim that. You better put a patent down.
You heard it here first.
That was the great thing about the Ocean Island. We could walk to the main, like the pier area and the main shops and stuff. I mean, I don't know if you call it downtown Ocean Isle, but where we had our restaurants there. We also went to a wine bar. It was near the Drift coffee place. That was cool, and they have live music. Yeah. And we might as well talk about the sunset spot.
That was honestly one of the best sunsets I've seen. I felt like I was in Africa and hippos were about to pop their heads up amongst that swampy marshland area. I mean, it was at the Jinx Creek Grill, and it was overlooking, I think it must be Jinx Creek, the area there. But it was so expansive. You can go and check our Instagram accounts to see it.
Yeah, and we're going to be sharing blog posts about this trip. Yeah. And we'll put the links in the show notes. Stand by. They're not ready yet, but they're coming.
It was just such an incredible view.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like there's two sections to the restaurant. There was the upstairs more casual bar, and then the downstairs more formal restaurant. We sat upstairs with the elevated view, looking straight down the waterway, and the sun was setting right there. It was amazing. Really, and the colors kept changing, and I mean, even if you don't go there to eat, just go there for a sunset drink to start. Like, it was magic.
Yeah, that was definitely a big event, worth doing a North Carolina highlight, I reckon. It was something special. But
other cool place we ate with water views over the Intracoastal Waterway was the Ocean Isle Fishing Co.
They had Tiki Bar.
Tiki Bar.
Really cool.
Yeah, Tiki Bar. Elevated as well too. We sat back there and had some nice seafood and some burgers and watched the boats go by. And
Yeah, it was
it was right near the bridge where you come over into the island part.
Yeah. And then the Sharky Bar, I think, was another one. They had really affordable food there too, I thought, which was great looking over. We went there for dinner, looking over the water there.
Yeah, and we did discover as we're leaving another awesome coffee and bagel spot.
Yes, if you love your bagels, I think you would love to come here. The name escapes me.
59
there you
something.
Go. 59 Causeway Grill.
There you go. I knew 59 was in it. I don't know what else. But...
Yeah, and they've got their seasonal coffees out now. I had a nice pumpkin spice latte looking over the water. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, great bagels and coffee. So another option.
Yep. So that's probably all we did at Ocean Isle. And from there, it was an easy base to drive in and out of the other islands and the other things to do in the Brunswick Islands region. And so we drove on up to Oak Island and went on a really fantastic adventure up there that was kind of a little scary and something we've never done before. And we all know that North Carolina is the coastline for lighthouses. There are so many, and many people love to take road trips along North Carolina just to explore the lighthouses. And so if that's you, even if it's not you, you don't want to miss the Oak Island Lighthouse. And what makes it so unique is it's, I think, the only lighthouse in America that has ladders going up the inside. So it's not the spiral staircase that most lighthouses will have. So it's very unique that way. And you can go on a tour. It's a free tour, which is awesome. You know, you can pay by donation. That is highly encouraged. But you climb up the ladders on the inside of the lighthouse. I'm not usually afraid of heights. I am afraid of ladders though. So I found that quite a scary yet fun adventure.
Do you remember how many steps we had to climb?
I know you do. No, you don't.
I do.
Okay, we'll share.
131.
There you go.
Yeah, I am scared of heights.
Yeah, you were fine. What's
even
that?
though I've jumped out of a plane and done crazy stuff, I don't like heights. But you're enclosed, and I've worked in construction, so I'm used to climbing a lot of ladders up to 3-story buildings and stuff like that. But yeah, it was fine. I was more worried about the kids and nervous for you guys, not myself.
The kids were really scared.
They kind of freaked out. Particularly coming down. Going up's easy because it's more natural, but coming down is a bit more nervy.
Yeah.
But the view is worth it, guys. Awesome. I got some great shots, some great photos and videos from the top. You got this awesome view over the beach and the coastline, all the way over to Southport. We had a beautiful day. And definitely worth the effort to get up there. And what were they saying? It was the second brightest lighthouse in America or something?
Yeah, on the tour that we were on, I believe they only run this version in the summer months, but you can go up to the next level. So the normal tour takes you to the outside balcony and you can walk around it. Again, I was freaking out up there. The girls were really freaking out. I think that's what scared me, but absolutely stunning views. But this tour took us up the next level inside to where the actual light is, and they've just recently replaced the old light that was there that consumed a lot of power and wasn't so bright with these LED lights.
Yeah.
And you can see them. We have them on our social channels. And so there is some fun fact about it that I can't quite remember, but will be in the blog post. But use minimal energy and they last for years and are much brighter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's big check for the environmental.
Yeah, put the Oak Island Lighthouse on your list of things to do in Brunswick Islands. And we mentioned Southport. How cool is Southport? I know
Southport.
A few friends have been there many times and love it, and we've never been there.
No.
And I had no idea it had so much history in movie and TV shows.
Yeah. It's Southport's the kind of southern town that we love, like Charleston, Savannah, Wilmington. It's a much smaller version of it, but just as pretty and worth visiting. It was such a cool little spot. Yeah,
I guess the only thing, it was a mini version of Charleston and Savannah. It doesn't have the horse and cart tour, but we did a golf cart tour.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's kind of an extended version of a golf cart.
Yeah, it can fit, about 8 people probably?
Yeah, so we did a cool guided tour for about 45 minutes, and our guide had some history in the industry, like the television industry. So he was very, very knowledgeable of and been there a long time. So that was cool. Cruised around, looked at some old homes that are featured in films and movies and restaurants and stuff, and other historical buildings.
Yeah.
That was fun.
A lot of things have been filmed there, which I didn't know. Weekend at Bernie's. I was
Yeah,
like, wow,
I
that's
know.
pretty cool.
And I know what you did last summer. The
Yes,
scary movie.
Yeah. A scene
I
from
can't
there
think.
was
It's been so long since I've seen that.
A Walk to Remember with Mandy Moore. That she walked over that lovely boardwalk that we walked on that gave beautiful views over the marshland and then back over the little town area where the restaurants are on the river there. That was really nice.
Yeah, and he mentioned a few other A-list celebrity Hollywood people that stuff have been shot there. The guy from North Carolina. How could I forget his name?
That guy. So many of them.
You know what I'm talking about? Help me out.
No, I remember the American Idol guy.
No.
What's his name now? Yeah, I've forgotten him. Ryan Seacrest.
Oh, yeah, Ryan Seacrest was there for some reason.
there.
There's some particular seafood restaurant.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll get back to
I know
that.
that story you're telling, but
I wasn't telling the story. The guide was, but his name's escaped me. Still waking up here. Yeah, Southport, very cool. And we saw another awesome sunset from the restaurant.
we did.
What was the name of the restaurant?
Oh my gosh, that is just
Fishy.
Many people recommended that to us.
Yeah, and in case you don't know, I've just opened up my own bar inside of Fishy too, called Craig's Bar.
Craig's Sunset Bar, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Or Sunset Deck. But anyway, we ended up sitting right underneath the sign that said that. So that was
and of course, I forgot to take a photo at my own bar. But yeah, you get an awesome sunset there. It's open air, right on the water. Check it out. And there's the Provision Co. is another popular place to eat.
Yep.
And there's an ice cream store right there.
That ice cream was pretty good.
And a place for coffee that wasn't open because I think we were there on a Monday. What was the name of that coffee place? The Market. Something Market. Mm-hmm. It's probably the only one in town. But again, all this will be in our blog content.
Yeah. So get there. Southport, the gentleman told us, is one of the fastest growing places to live in America. Mm. And he had actually sailed the what is that sailing adventure that goes? I
don't know. You're telling the story.
The Great Road, or it's not a road because they go down the Mississippi and then come up around the coastline, the east coastline. Anyway, he has sailed that numerous times, about 10 times, I think he said, which is amazing, and had passed through Southport, which is right at the mouth of the Cape Fear River. And this is the place he decided he wanted to settle because he thought it was like the coolest place he'd been to on that big adventure.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good cred.
There you go.
Yeah.
What else did we do?
Well, another one that I wanted to do, and I was so happy that we did it, and I had first come across it in a Nicholas Sparks book, Every Breath, which is centered on the kindred spirit mailbox. And so this whole story is based on this mailbox. And, I read the story and I was like, that's such an interesting concept. And then I found out it was actually real. Mm. So when we went down to Sunset Beach, I was like, well, we have to do this walk. And it's 1.4 miles along the beach. And the beach here is beautiful. I think it was my favorite beach out of the Brunswick Islands because Sunset Beach itself, it's very residential and there's lots of dunes there. So it's not really developed at all. And then Sunset Beach south of that, or it's actually west, turns into Bird Island, which is a huge protected area. And the beach there was white, pristine sand. You have the sand dunes. You've got walking trails that go in the back area and through the marshlands. Really, really beautiful. And you walk along that 1.4 miles and then just off the beach and the sand dunes, you find this mailbox.
Yeah, I love that walk. It's nice and flat and wide. Like there was a lot of people like biking it too because it's quite firm. And yeah, it's really nice just to walk barefoot on the shallow edge of the water and and then we got to the mailbox. And what happens at the mailbox?
Yeah, so the mailbox has been there for like 44 years. So I think it was a couple maybe that first put it there. And inside the mailbox are notebooks. And you can sit down and you can write in the notebook whatever you like, or you can just read what people have written. Savannah and I that morning both wrote our own letter, and hers was really cute. She wrote all about her dreams for her life. And I wrote a letter sharing our travel manifesto. So 10 principles for creating amazing travel, which you can also apply to life. So we both put them in the mailbox. We didn't realize that you could actually, there were notebooks there. So we actually took it on a piece of paper, but you could just go and write. There's like 10 pens in there. There's so many pens and write your story. But it was just lovely to read people's stories. They share stories of hope, wisdom, trauma. Like, it was just quite heartwarming to sit there and read these stories where people are kind of sharing their life story, pouring out their heart. And it's just a nice exercise to read and understand, you know what, we're all so similar. We all go through the same feelings and problems and issues and all have the same hopes and dreams. So it's really worth doing.
Yeah, sure. There's a combination of like inspiration and like sad stories and just real life like drama.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's any. Did Ryan Gosling leave a note or anything you come across? Like from the Nicholas Sparks
from the Notebook
crew?
Oh,
huh?
I actually watched the Notebook.
Well, you're talking about notebooks. I mean, like he is the Notebook. He's the man.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah.
I wish there was a note from him there.
Yeah. What was it? There's a few Nicholas. Like, what's the other ones? Dear John and Message in a Bottle, maybe? Was that him?
Yes. Message in a Bottle, I think, was the one filmed at Outer Banks.
If you want to cry, just watch a Nicholas Sparks movie.
Yeah, I do every time with
tear
the
up.
Notebook.
Yeah. Get emotional.
Anyway,
But that was cool. Get a bit of exercise, walk along a beautiful beach, and you can share some wisdom, some story, or just read somebody else's.
Yeah. Yep. That was good. And then we hung out at Sunset Beach for a bit, went swimming there, which was nice.
Yeah, it is a nice beach to swim and hang out, get some beach time.
Yep.
We ate right near the pier as well, by memory. That was the restaurant near the pier, wasn't it, in Sunset Beach? Oh, no, that was Oak Island.
Yeah, that's right. That was a great little restaurant at the pier there.
I'm getting mixed up. And the name of it, again, I should have written this down.
Copacabana or something groovy. Like it was an islandy kind of
So we've forgot all the names of these restaurants because we were just in island time, just chilling. That's why you go away to just forget things and just chill out.
But that was they had cocktails and it was an island.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Inspired.
I had a burger right near the pier. It was kind of like if you've been to the Outer Banks, right near there, it's kind of a similar setup. But yeah, there's indoor and outdoor seating right at the beginning of the pier. Like you're not actually over the water, but right there. That was super cool.
Yeah.
You got it?
No, of course it's not popping up. But anyway, keep sharing.
But it was Oak Island, correct? Or it was Sunset Beach?
No, it was Oak Island.
Our 4 days just blending into one big day. That's how happy we were.
We were happy.
Yeah.
But near Sunset is Calabash. So we did go and eat out there. So if you want to talk about Calabash,
yes, that's inland a little, known for their seafood. It's just on the waterway there too, like small little town establishment. One place we particularly liked was Rock Oyster, or was it Oyster Rock? Oyster Rock, I think it was called. Little bit more upscale of a restaurant, but the food was excellent. I had some oysters and we had some fresh fish, and yeah, they did a really good job. And on the water was a really nice setting.
Yeah, it was. It's saying Island Way, but that was not the name of the restaurant. So
we'll figure it out.
It'll be in our blog post anyway.
Yeah.
We'll put it in there. But yeah, if you want seafood.
We only did this trip like last week, guys.
It feels like weeks ago. But yeah, Calabash, if you want like seafood straight from the boats.
Off the trawlers.
That's where
there's a few very casual, cool places like right on the boardwalk area there, and then a few more modern upscale restaurants. Plenty to choose from. You can just walk around.
Yeah, that's right.
Check out the menus.
And not far from there too in Calabash was the ice cream place, Calabash Creamery.
Yeah, that was great.
That was very good ice cream.
Yeah.
Cheap too. Wow.
Yeah.
It's really cheap.
Yeah, can't remember. You paid for it. But Yeah, can't do a beach break without ice cream.
No, the kids really loved that part of our trip.
And Holden Beach.
Yeah, we just stopped in there for a bit, didn't we? We
Half
went
a day?
to the Provision company. So in the Brunswick Island region, there are 2 provisions. I believe they're totally owned by different people. The one we mentioned in Southport, and then the other one is in the Holden Beach area, and it's right on the Intracoastal Waterway. It has really open air, expansive views. It has spectacular views from there. And the thing that everybody loves and raves about are their shrimp burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
that's
had
the
to
thing to do.
I had to put it to the test, of course, and a sneaky beer. Yeah.
Did you have a beer?
I think so.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Maybe I didn't.
There you go. But you snuck one in.
Yeah, shrimp burger. Yeah, awesome views, elevated over the Intracoastal Waterway again, and it was good. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it's the thing you do there.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you have?
I had the shrimp burger, but on a salad.
On a salad.
Because I couldn't have the bread.
Yeah.
And the patty part's gluten-free.
Yeah, but it's a very family-friendly restaurant. Like, they got a big grassed area where you can play cornhole and a few other games, and a lot of space to sit out and just chill by the water. Yeah, like a more popular locals place. I guess they have music at certain times. I'm sure live music. There's a funky little bar, a lot of memorabilia and stuff. So yeah, that's the only place we ate in Holden Beach.
Yeah, we didn't spend too long in Holden Beach. And then I think the only other thing we did in the Brunswick Islands region before we came back was we went zip lining and on the adventure course at the Swamp Park adventure area.
Oh, no, we snuck in a brewery too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We did too. Yes.
And something else.
Well, let's go. Let's talk about the adventure course.
Flying through the treetops. Yes, we've ziplined so many times, like within the US, Australia, various places around, and yeah, the kids love it. Love getting up and getting some adrenaline rush through the canopy of the trees and stuff, and taking on the like the ropes challenge courses and stuff.
So we split up on this one because Savannah was too light. She wasn't heavy enough for the zip line.
Yeah.
So you went on that with Kalira, and then I took Savannah onto the adventure course. And the adventure course was actually really good. We've also done a lot of adventure course. That's like the high ropes obstacle courses. And this one had 3 levels. Savannah couldn't go on the top one because she wasn't old enough. He had to be 14 because the safety system got a little bit more complicated because you went up much higher. But it was a really great course. It was a lot of fun. They had some like fun obstacles. Like there was a King Kong there that you had to navigate round, and there was a little rock climbing section. We had to scale over like a skyac, which is a kayak in the sky. Not a kayak, but a skyac.
For real. Fair income.
That's what they call it.
Can I say fair income?
You can say fair income. I understand.
No one will understand me, but fair income.
Fair income.
For real.
For real. Okay. It was. And they also had a jet ski on the very top level. So you had to clamber over the jet ski to move on. Mind you, you're attached the entire time to a cable, just in case you're worried.
Yes, because it is over like swampy gator territory.
Yeah, so you guys zipped over the swamp.
We did zip over it. I didn't see any gators. I saw some other wildlife, some turtles and birds and stuff. And yeah, the zip line was cool. There were some really big ones, high, like you climb up the top of the towers and then zip between the trees. It was fun. Get up some speed. The guides were funny and knowledgeable. Yeah. It was a good hour or so.
It was actually over 2 hours.
2 hours, there you go.
That's how much fun you were having.
Time flies when you're
having fun. When you're zip-lining.
Yeah, so we always like to, it's another way to get out in nature, get amongst the trees and stuff like that and have some adventure. The kids always like it.
Keep the kids engaged and excited.
Yeah. So that was the most adrenaline-packed thing we did there.
Except for the lighthouse.
Oh, the lighthouse.
Got my adrenaline going.
And then, obviously the supping that we did on the waterway. It was cool. So
actually, that supping was a little nerve-wracking because we did.
Not for me.
I know, because you were on the drone capturing me, but I was out there on my own supping, and I'm like, supping doesn't worry me. I'm never worried about that. But we did intend to go, I think it was down Sunset Beach, and we found a place on the waterway to go. And then there's huge signs everywhere saying, watch out for alligators. And then we're like, I don't know, I don't think we want to go out here supping. So we didn't.
Gator country.
So then we did it up there. But then I'm like, this is still gator country. And so I'm supping on my own through the tide was really low, through the swampy channels. And I'm going down these channels and it was prime alligator area. And then there's like the mud in clumps everywhere. And so to me, they look like alligators. And I was freaking out a little bit. And then a fish jumped out onto my board while I was paddling.
Oh, I missed that shot. That would have been awesome.
I was like, oh my God, there's a fish on my board. And I'm trying not to fall in because I'm worried about alligators.
Oh, anyway. We need to get some hand signals so you could give me a heads up. Like,
down to the fish.
Drone in now. 1 o'clock.
Fish on board. Fish on board.
Yeah. Oh, stop. You're scaring everybody away from paddleboarding.
No, yeah, don't. There were no alligators there. It was just my mind.
Yeah,
it's always mostly just your mind.
I did see the signs as well, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, if it in Australia, it's saltwater crocs. Not a chance. Not a chance. They're man-eaters.
Yeah.
Now, I have kayaked with freshwater crocodiles.
And they're like alligators.
Yeah, they're smaller than saltwater crocs, and they're not typically aggressive unless they're threatened, unless you try and bother them or they're nesting or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, and plus
We've swam with freshwater crocodiles.
We have too, actually. Good. Yeah, that's
Several
right.
times.
In Lake Argyle in Western Australia. You've probably never heard of it, but there's this amazing big freshwater lake in Western Australia, and there was like thousands of freshwater crocs in there.
Yeah.
And we swam out there and tubed out there, sat in a tube with a can of beer. And watched the sun go down. It was amazing.
Great. And we were in the very deep part, so there was probably no crocodiles there, but the lake is full of them.
Yeah.
But the freshies, they won't hurt you. And I feel that way about alligators. You know, obviously you're not going to, you got to be careful and don't go swimming around alligators and stuff.
People getting taken in Florida and stuff, like dogs go missing and
like little dogs
women
and stuff.
Jogging and stuff like that. But I guess they're going to be big gators.
Yeah, I did. And we
like
went
the size
kayaking.
of maybe the size of Tim Tebow. Is a gator,
big.
Isn't he?
Most gators aren't that big.
Big 7 footer.
Yeah,
8 footer maybe.
Do they get that big?
I don't know.
Gators? I don't think they get that.
Let us know, how big do they get? Because saltwater crocs get massive.
Yeah, I mean they're huge.
Yeah,
they're
as
like
big as a
8
bus.
meters and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, no, I don't think we kayaked with the gators down in Florida. Remember that crazy kayaking trip we did down the Slave Creek in Monticello?
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we were
One
paddling
went
past
splashing,
alligators.
flashed its tail.
Yeah, that was. Girls were a little scared with that one.
Yeah. Well, they can surprise you when you're not expecting them, and they're camouflaged and
then slap. There goes the water.
Yeah,
oh my God, there's an alligator.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah. But no, I go paddleboarding down there.
Brunswick Islands and Ocean Isle, all that is like paddleboarding heaven. Don't listen to Caroline trying to freak out.
I'm not
She's
trying.
like,
I'm just
she lived to tell the tale. She's here. She survived.
There was only a fish.
And I was like lurking above with my drone, keeping watch. Like, you know how they do shark patrols at the beach with helicopters. That's what I was doing actually. I wasn't actually filming for our blog on YouTube. It was gator patrol.
My hero. I felt so secure. They really need to write a Nicholas Sparks novel about that.
Yeah, put me in, Nick. Put me in.
Oh God. There's your next story, Nick.
I cry easily. So does that tick the
Well, you got to make
audition
people
box?
Reading cry.
Yeah.
So I think if the story is that you are like my protector with the drone pilot following me everywhere and you save me like a superhero.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a story there.
Yeah, there's a story there.
All right. Yeah. No, Brunswick Islands is great. I'd love to get back there and explore more. Besides doing what we just talked about, my favorite parts are just like waking up in the morning on your balcony, having a coffee, watching the sunrise, walking along the beach, jumping in the ocean, sitting by the pool, reading a book, just chilling.
Yeah, that's why you go to a beach vacation. That's what it's all about, and that's what we wanted to do. But we can't help ourselves. We love to put a bit of adventure into our travels too. So we try and find that balance.
Yeah.
The beach vacay, definitely go in the fall. On this trip, we did work with...
Well, you don't have to just go in the fall, but...
Oh, go year round, even in the winter.
Yeah, the benefits as we mentioned, but year round. Like, great getaway from Raleigh.
Yeah.
Easy 2.5 hour drive and you're there. It's nothing.
Yeah, nothing at all. We visited the area working with the Brunswick Islands Visitor Tourism Board, and Allianz Travel. We are ambassadors for Allianz Travel Insurance over on Why Travel blog, and so we're down there creating some content on North Carolina beaches for them. So just our disclaimer for that.
Yeah, and our trip to Brunswick Islands is gonna it's not far from like Carolina Beach, Wilmington, like a quick detour.
Yeah, it's the Cape Fear region.
So you could tie it in, like you can extend your stay in several other destinations.
Yeah, which is what we want to write about and help you to do that. So do let us know, comments on the blog, email kazcraig@thisisraleigh.com and let us know, if we're creating this content about road tripping North Carolina coastline, what are some things that you want to know about. I think our first post is going to concentrate on the highlights of the Cape Fear region, the coastline along there and the beaches along there. So let us know. And then we will talk about in an upcoming podcast. We did actually go back to the beach. We came back to Raleigh to do the, I was going to say the Blues Fest, but it was not the Blues Fest.
Bluegrass.
The Bluegrass Festival, which we've never been able to do because we've always been out traveling. So we're like, we're not missing it this year. So we went down to Brunswick Islands. We came back for that. And then we went to Carolina Beach.
Yeah. So we'll have to chat about Carolina Beach in a future podcast too. So we had a lot of fun there. And that was the first time, again, exploring that in depth. So, yeah.
And it was cool. I liked it a lot.
Stay tuned for that, guys.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap up?
No, just, look out on, we'll have content on both thisisraleigh.com and whytravelblog.com on the Brunswick Islands region. And we are putting stuff out on social media and we will have video as well. So head on over and subscribe to our blog. That way you won't miss anything.
Yeah. So if you're craving a sunrise, some sunshine, some sand between the toes, some salt water, all the above, consider Brunswick Islands for your next getaway from Raleigh.
Great beach destination in North Carolina.
All right.
Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Remember to subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcasts on, if you haven't already, and share us with your mates, as we'd say in Australia.
Yeah. Share the love. And as per usual, this will be on our YouTube channel and IGTV. And now, I believe, also Facebook.
Yeah.
We can do it. So
there you go.
It's
Wherever you
everywhere.
Are, we're there.
We are like, just popping up in places, still finding new places. But
yeah. And we never stop.
Not
never
TikTok.
Stop finding.
Not quite TikToking yet, but we'll see.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? The world's an open book.
It's not enough hours in the day. But anyway, all right.
All right, guys. Cheers. We'll say our Australian goodbye. Uru.
Uru from the guru. Till next time.
Till next time. See you then.
Bye.